Hello, 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 and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Jameelah, and I am a master manifester. If it's your first time, welcome. If you've been here before, then you already know the name of this channel is Manifesting Magic with Dr. J, and of course, I am Dr. J. What I'm discussing today is, for some reason, I was a little bit anxious about having a video today. Don't know why. I don't know. I'm just going to watch these little feelings or things come and go. So nonetheless, something I want to talk about today or something is your patterns, right? Patterns are such an important part of manifesting because they do such a good job to tell us who we are. So sometimes we might wonder why we're manifesting the same thing that we don't want over and over again, but we're not actually doing a deep dive into some of our behavior or patterns that may be creating the same things in our lives over and over and over again, right? There's a saying that's out there, once is a mistake, second is happenstance, and the third time is a pattern, right? So I always say in any situation that you're trying to deal with, trying to find a solution, it's kind of just like math, right? What's the common denominator in all those situations? Because if there's only one common denominator, then it's probably easy to find what that problem is because it'll be attached to the common denominator. So it's like people that have a series of 5 really bad relationships. Then you meet them and they blame everything that happened in the relationships on the people that they were in the relationships with. But I'm like, you had this happen 5 times. So someone cheated on you 5 times and you don't think that that behavior has anything to do with you. And it's not even possible that it doesn't, because law of attraction is real. And whether or not you are creating this through your thought process, with your selection process, it's being created through some patterns that you unconsciously or subconsciously have when it comes to relationships, or when it comes to money, or when it comes to career, or when it comes to your spiritual development. Wherever you're running into a roadblock over and over and over again, it's generally based on where your patterns are, right? So another big area of patterns that I like to pay attention to myself is definitely those things that are comfortable for me. And when they're not giving me results, why are they not giving me results, and what can I do to adjust it, right? So I can think of a really good one for me. A pattern for me, a really good pattern for me is every time I start on new projects or new jobs or anything with someone where I have not worked with them in the past, they're never comfortable with me taking care of everything. And I have no idea why. This is before seeing any work. This is before seeing any feedback. Now, this is not never, but I've ran into this situation more than once. And so I was thinking like, wait, this happened when I was at this place. This happened when I was at the last place. I said, so something about the way that I'm communicating when I'm meeting people or when I'm having the first conversations, which is usually very little conversation because I just feel like I'm listening. It's not making them feel secure in that I can handle or do whatever it is they're asking me to do. And so I just noticed this pattern a couple of days ago. I mean, not even a couple of days ago, maybe a week or so ago. And I was thinking to myself, like, what is it? And one of the biggest things I know is I'm really introverted, and I'm having a conversation about something that needs to be done or fixed or a project someone's working on. I sit and listen for the whole time because I just want them to say everything that's on their mind related to the project and the problem. And then that way I can kind of look at what they gave me and then go back and say, okay, this is what I'm thinking. But something about that handoff between that process of me receiving it and it's not clear. And I think it's because people are used to so much verbal feedback when they have meetings and conversations. And I'm not really into verbal feedback. I'm like, okay, I got it. Let me show you something day after tomorrow. That's the way I operate. That doesn't always go over well in places where people are like, what's going on? I have no idea what's happening. So sometimes that's the thing. And so what I told myself, okay, I need to break that pattern. I need to find a way for people to feel more confident in that I understand I can take care of something that they're asking me to do. And so it's been a series of me looking at the feedback I give and thinking, okay, maybe I can update people a little more often. Okay, well, maybe I can say, These are from the notes from this particular date. Like give dates and times and notes, do things that annoying meeting people do. Because apparently it's a culture of connection when it comes to people working on projects, and it's something that reassures people. So why I'm not interested in changing things that take me completely outside of who I am as far as my persona, and what I like about myself. I am interested in creating situations to where I'm not getting negative feedback when negative feedback is not quite necessary, right? So it's different if you're just being discriminated against, which is hard to prove all the time anyway, or if you're just, having an awful experience with a manager, going into a place and you're trying to return something or whatever people have issues with. Those are very different than you having patterns in your life that are giving you really specific outcomes, right? Another one that a lot of women have, and I'll say this just because I'm speaking from a female perspective, but I'm sure there are men that do this too, is feeling overwhelmed and then not realizing why. And generally is because you have a pattern of taking on too much, of saying yes when you should say no. So while we like to be there for everyone and we like to make everyone feel like, you can have it all and I can be a vessel for you having it all, there are appropriate times when no or not enough time or that's not going to work today would serve you better than saying yes and then finding yourself in the same pattern of being excited to give someone else relief, but you taking on the burden of what they need from you and then not exactly speaking up and saying, okay, this is too much for me, right? I back myself into that corner all the time. I told one of my daughters no for something today, and it was such a good explanation because people are like, no is a complete sentence. No, I gave her a good reason. They're always begging for material things, especially since they started going to school. People don't tell you that is a side effect of going to regular school when you've homeschooled your children. It's so much junk and chaos. I wish I can skip them through that part of their lives and be like, stop fiddling with people so much. Do your stuff. Focus on what you have going on. But I know they got to hit the pavement with putting people at the center of their experiences all the time. And then realizing, okay, that didn't work, right? And so some of these asks, like material things, they're just based on what so-and-so has or somebody's doing and all these sort of things. So I was like, no. You can't have this thing. And then the message to ask for it was like, it'll be an ask of one thing for the century. Girl, you are not going to ask me for only this for the century. That sounds like some nonsense I would have said way back in the day if my mom was the kind of mom that listened to that, but she wasn't listening to that nonsense. The only thing I'll ask for, yeah, okay. So nonetheless, I don't believe that. And I said, you know what? I think that we've all been purchasing too many material things. I said, this is a good opportunity to take a moment to be grateful for what we have and what we've received just in 2022 alone. And she said, okay, smiley face, right? Because it wasn't just, no, you don't deserve that. You don't get that. So sometimes when we have to say no, or we need to break a pattern, because one of my patterns are really bad with my daughters is saying yes, because I'm like, I'm kind of a single mom. I got to give them everything. It's a trap. And one of my things are like, you know what, now you've had everything. You've got enough. So my pattern has to be broken down and think, okay, what part of this are you playing in them asking you for material things once a week? The part that I'm playing is saying yes. And the same thing with the no's when you're dealing with people and doing projects. What part am I playing? Saying yes. And I was thinking about contracts and having timelines that I'm not meeting and feeling frustrated with it. One of my biggest issues is like, what is the pattern in that? You keep saying yes. So when those patterns show up and that timeline gets on your plate and you're just like tomorrow at noon and you're like, no, I'm going to need one more day on that. Unless someone else wants to do it, but I'm letting you know what I need for my time. Nonetheless, I hope this makes sense to you. I hope you understand, like, when you're manifesting the same things over and over and over again, and you're trying to figure out what is the issue, check into your patterns, take a microscope to it and do some do some deep diving into what is it that I do the same every time when I get this exact same result. And some of that work is shadow work. Some of that work is hard work. Some of that work is work that people don't want to do because it's so much easier to say they're doing this, they're doing that, they're doing this, when you are the common denominator in all of the issues, and you have to really peel back the layers and say, in what way am I contributing to manifesting the same thing over and over again? And that manifestation is not something that I want. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video today. Hit like, subscribe, and share if you choose. And that's all I have. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day.